With Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson coming off a win at UFC 130 against Miguel Torres. DJ, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's Wednesday night, and got the results back from my doctor on my leg, man.
So what's the deal? Looks like you're laid up here at AMC Pacific. You look like you're a little bit hurting. What's going on?
I broke my leg in the beginning of the second round. I fractured the fibula all the way through. It's a pretty nasty injury. I can't bear no weight on my leg, and so I got to start my basically working my way back to getting 100%, from today.
How long do you think you're going to be out, and when do you think you're going to be able to start training again?
If I take care of my injury correctly, I'll be out for like 3 weeks, no weight bearing on it, and then I can start, slowly training again. But the train 100%, I'll probably say about maybe 5 weeks.
So if you had, if everything goes perfectly and according to plan, when would you like to fight again?
I would love to jump on that GSP and Nick Diaz card. It's in Vegas. I heard it was in October, which is 4 months from now, which is plenty enough time for me to be ready. Especially if it's at the end of the month. I mean, that would be giving me enough time to get my speed back up and my strength, and be able to be 110% for that night,
Now, obviously, this is a huge victory for you. I know you're very excited about it, but it seems like on the internet there's a little bit of controversy over whether or not you should have won. For the people that think that Miguel Torres should have won the fight, what do you say to them, and what are your thoughts on the fight in general?
There's a lot of, stuff going on the internet, and, I apologize to everybody who, thinks it's a big giant, controversy. And, my job is to go out there and just fight, It's not my decision who wins the fight. That's the judges, and that's what the UFC pays them for. And for all the fans out there, who thought Miguel won, I apologize that it didn't go the way you guys wanted it to. And like I said, I have no control over that. I just go out there and do my job, and that's to put on an exciting fight and make sure the fans get what they wanted, And I hope all my fans were very excited for the W that I achieved that night. And for the Miguel fans, I apologize.
Now, going into the fight, it looked like you had a different game plan than the way the fight ended. Was that because of the break of the foot, or what was the game plan going in?
The game plan going in against Miguel Torres is he's a long fighter. He's 5'10", 77-inch reach. The game plan was to chop his legs down, man. I mean, he leaves that leg out there, and we figured we can just take it away from him. In the first round, it was going pretty well. Then right in the beginning of the second round, I go out there and I just kick it, and I turned it over too much. I aimed with the fibula instead of the tibia, and the bone just broke. And once I stepped back and I heard crunch, crunch, I was like, it's broke. I knew I broke it. And I kept on fighting, and I had to resort back to my wrestling, which I'm good at. And I still had a couple of good strikes up there, In the last round, I hit with a huge overhand right, and I'm surprised he didn't go down by that. I mean, Miguel Torres is one of the toughest in the world. I mean, at 135, I don't think there's nobody out there who can have a sick ground game like he did. And, I had no chance to, lay down in his guard at all.
Speaking of laying down, some people are saying maybe you laid and prayed your way to a victory. What do you say to those people?
I don't think I laid and prayed my way to victory, man. I mean, Miguel Torres is so slick off his back. I mean, if I would sit there and sat down and say a prayer, I probably woke up with the answer, and that would be me not winning that fight, there was no time to lay and pray in that guard. I mean, he was always sweeping me, and I was going back at him, and he was always, elbowing me in the head, clapping my ears, trying to break my eardrums. So there was no time to lay and pray, I mean, it wasn't like me and him were hugging each other and whispering, bedtime stories in each other's ears. I mean, we were really working for, the finish. And, when I damaged my leg, it was so hard for me to put any weight on it and even pass guard. And so I just did my best to make sure to keep him on his toes and always working the whole time.
Was there anything that you kind of wish would have gone differently in the fight? Obviously, you'd like to go for finish if you could, but Miguel being a former champion, I'm sure that was pretty tough. Was there anything that you would have changed if you could go back and have the fight again?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I wish I would never broke my leg in the beginning of the second round. That took a lot out of my play. I mean, I'm known for my speed and my footwork, and even after I broke my leg, I switched to southpaw, so my lead leg was in back, so I have my driving leg, which I can get my speed, and it was even hard to do that. And who knows, he's a very tough opponent, very slick off his back. Maybe if my leg was, 100%, maybe I could have passed guard a lot more, be more effective in his guard. But, there's only so much you can do when you're like one-man leg, so I did my best, and I was very excited to come away with the W that night, and I can't wait to get back in there, honestly.
You've already come over a couple of great victories here with Kid Yamamoto and Miguel Torres. Is there anyone that's left in a division that you really want to get a shot at before you look for a title shot, or kind of what's your mindset about the 135-pound division?
The 135-pound division in the UFC is just stacked. I mean, you have so many great guys coming up. I mean, Michael McDonald, Hannah Barraro, Scott Jurgensen's fighting, this Saturday. Brian Bowles is back, and he's on a, one-fight win streak against Demetrious Page. And it's just really stacked. It's up to the UFC. My job is to go out there and fight and put on good shows for the fans and make sure my body's 100% when they call me too. And right now I'm doing my first job, and that's to take care of my leg and get back in the gym and get after it again. So it's up to the UFC.
Now, breaking down the title fight in your division, Uriah Faber, Dominic Cruz, can you kind of break that fight down for us and tell us who you think might win that and maybe by what way?
Man, I mean, that fight is going to be sick. Dominic Cruz, very elusive stand-up artist. He has probably one of the best footwork in the UFC at 135-pound division. I think me and him have probably the best footwork. And Uriah Faber, very strong 135er. He came down from 145, a lot of experience. And that's just going to be, all-out war. I mean, Dominic Cruz has a very elusive stand-up. And that's gonna. I think I see that gives Uriah Faber problems as it gave Joseph problems. So I mean the fight's gonna be really good. I like both fighters, and I don't know how the fight's gonna play out. I'm gonna have to be there, watching it, see who's gonna win. I'm very excited to see that fight.
Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson, winner at UFC 130. We thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me, and all my fans. I apologize for the leg break. The speed wasn't there on Saturday, even though you guys said it was. But I can be a lot faster, and I can fight, a lot better than that. So I'm gonna take care of this leg and get back to you guys as soon as possible. And I will be back in action. I promise.
Thank you very much.
Yeah!